Welcome back to our HCTV Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Zane Bowling. I'm here with my co-host, Ben Schaefer. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm also here with our special guest, Thomas Bunsauer. How are you doing today, Thomas?
Good, Zane.
Oh, I'm pretty good as well. Before we get started, we want to give a shout out to our AC basketball team, girls basketball team. They had a pretty big win against Battle Creek Central. They did in comeback fashion, I think, right, Ben?
Yep.
But they won around 10 or 12 points, came back. Yeah, it was a pretty good game.
Yep.
I was there to watch. Thomas, so you play for the Battle Creek Bruins, right? The hockey team?
Yes.
Can you give us what's that like?
So the Bruins are not like a normal high school team. It pulls players from high schools around the area, like in the IA, from Penfield, Marshall, and like Hastings, all around there. And it gives them a chance to play high school hockey because none of their schools have a team.
So what areas is their line stopped where you can't go beyond? How far away do kids come to play on the Bruins?
I mean, normally we stop around Kalamazoo, but we actually have a kid from Indiana. He's one of our goalies this year.
Oh, geez.
Is he sweet?
He's all right. He's all right.
You could shout him out.
Connor Shippey.
Oh.
Shout out Shippy.
Shippey.
So do you guys, I know hockey, they travel a lot, they go everywhere, especially it's kind of not like a high school team. It's like, do you guys travel a lot? Like, do you guys go, do you go to Ann Arbor? Ann Arbor's probably close for you, right?
I mean, Ann Arbor, we actually have a tournament in Ann Arbor this weekend. But we were in Alpena last year. That's right by, not Traverse City, but that's up near the top of the Mitten.
Yeah, that's up there.
Petoskey and
it's about a 5-hour
City.
drive. I carpooled with a couple of my teammates up there.
Smelly car or what?
It was
Heard hockey players stink.
the gear's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But then a couple years ago, I actually got the chance to go to Buffalo and play a tournament there against some of the best teams in the country.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Did you guys fly up there?
No, it was another road trip. It's kind of hard to fly hockey gear with how frequently luggage gets lost.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
What does a car trip look like for a hockey team? I know what it looks like for a basketball or football team, but
So you're gonna want to bring tons of extra sets of clothes because you have your warm-ups and those get super sweaty and you don't really have a laundry machine.
Yep.
So you gotta keep getting new clothes, and then it's really just trying to stuff as much stuff in your trunk as possible.
yeah.
Because those bags weigh 50, 70 pounds.
Yeah, because that's a lot of gear to be
Yeah.
lugging around.
Yeah, and if you're a family like mine who has 2 hockey players, it gets pretty tight and
Yeah.
pretty smelly quick.
You have a minivan or something, or?
No, my dad has a Jeep.
Okay.
That most of the time fits it. And then my mom also, she doesn't have a van, she has an SUV.
Okay.
And that most of the time gets the job done.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas. So I don't really know a lot about hockey, but are you guys in a league or anything like that?
Yeah, we are in a league. There's not a real name for it.
Okay.
But the Bruins are currently undefeated in league. We are 7-0.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and our only real close game was our first game of the season. We played a team from Rockford. That was 2-1, and then all the other games have been 5-1 or 7-0.
So what's the difference? I know Lumen Christi. Does Lumen Christi have a high school team?
Lumen Christi does have a high school team.
So does the MHSAA have playoffs and everything after that, or what's the difference between you guys and them?
So all hockey leagues have districts.
Okay.
Which is the teams around your area, that's your league. And then they have a state playoffs.
Okay.
So for teams like Lumen Christi, they'll play teams from Kalamazoo. And teams from us, or for us, we play more east side teams, so we'll play teams from Detroit.
Okay.
And there's several different ways to get into state playoffs. One of them is winning districts.
Mm-hmm.
Another one's just having a good enough record from
Okay.
the league. And then speaking of state playoffs, the Bruins are on a 5-year winning streak for states.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
See, do you get anything for winning districts or the league or anything? Do you get a trophy or anything? Because I know for basketball you get stuff. Because
It's actually a Maplewood trophy. It's made sure every trophy, you win a district or regional, it's Maplewood. Just want to shout out.
that's sick.
It's a pretty good fact.
We do. We get a trophy, banner, and medals. We don't get a ring like football or any no, like
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm talking.
Like a big old fancy ring.
And
Yeah.
that'd be nice, but we get a medal, we get a trophy, and then a banner we can hang up in our arena.
That's sweet.
Do you have any rival? Like, what's your like biggest rival? If you had to say on your team, like who do you just play that you're just, I just can't wait to play them? Or
It's actually Alpena, the team we played last weekend. It's always like a Michigan State type rivalry.
Okay.
It's always gonna be quick. It's always
guys
gonna
be
be
chirping?
physical. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Love that.
Love that.
I love when hockey players say chirping or things like that.
Yeah. But we took it to them this year. We beat them 5-1. I actually had a hat trick that game. 3 goals.
Okay.
oh, you had a hat trick
I
that
did.
game?
I did.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
So like, are there a lot of kids from
For people who don't know,
on the team?
I'm sorry, Ben. For people who don't know, a hat trick is 3 goals in one game. I'm sorry. You can.
No worries. Are there a lot of kids from like Harper, or like kids a lot of people would know that are on your team?
Yeah. We have 2 juniors, a sophomore, and 2 freshmen on the Battle Creek team. Myself and Tyson Folkema. And then the sophomore is Dylan Jordan. And then the 2 freshmen are my little brother, Minnie Winsauer, and
Matthew
Tyler
Winsauer.
Minnie.
Matthew,
Minnie.
but
Yeah.
So like, how is it broken up with like age groups? Because I know like playing baseball when I was younger was like 9U, 10U, 11U. Like, how does that work in like hockey?
Well, there's like several different ways you can go about it. But like the way most people go, it's like U6, which is like very limited tournament, like mostly practice, just starting to develop.
Yeah.
Kids. Then U8s, which is starting to get into more competition. And then I think it's U10, U12, U16, and then U18. But like, there's like different things. Like if you were to go to high school,
Yeah.
like, you can play like as a 15, 16-year-old, you can play as a high school. But you'd have to be like really good to go from 6 to be 16 and play on a U18 team.
Yeah.
But the only teams that like really follow like the whole U18 thing are AAA teams,
Okay.
which is if you're like following the rankings, it goes AAA, Junior A, then pros.
Okay.
So they're like right up there.
Are there a lot of kids? Because I played baseball when I was younger, and it was like the U stuff you're talking about, like U16, U14. Are there a lot of kids that play up in age level, or is that allowed in hockey? Because I know there's a bunch of kids in baseball that play like up in age level if they're good enough, or maybe.
It is allowed, but like you said, you have to be a special talent to do it.
Yeah. So like, you said your little brother is a freshman. He plays on your team. Is that normally how it goes, or is your brother just kind of good, really good?
It is just kind of how it goes. I mean, you do have to be very good to make a high school team as a freshman, but for high school teams, there's not necessarily a JV team.
Okay.
So it's either
you make it or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's not always bad though.
Right.
I mean, you can always come back next year. I mean, it gets you in that mindset. You got to come back harder next year. I mean, and I know a lot of people who make say like a basketball B team or something instead of the A team, and they just quit because they think they'll never be good enough or something like that. I don't know. I just think that's not always a bad thing.
Yeah. Or like when juniors going on JV, I think it's really a good thing. It's like you're in love with a sport, so you're going down to play your sport, and it's not always about being on the top team, but it's about being able to play. And like,
right. It's just for the love of the game. It's
Yeah.
not for it's just you love the game.
And that's something like around the culture like of the school, like that would be a good thing to change. I feel like would be like supporting those kids that do go down or like play JV as like a junior, or like those exchange students that go down as like seniors. I think we should support them more than what we do.
And some of those exchange students are young.
Young.
And we have to like, and they're expected just to come in and play a varsity sport. And I just like, that's not fair to hold them at that. Like some kids are like supposed to be a sophomore. And
Yeah.
It's just like, we're supposed to hold them like they're supposed to be a senior.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas. So I know you're also a Detroit Lions fan. So what'd you think about that first win that they got?
it was something special. I didn't think it would happen this year, especially against a team like the Vikings. I mean, I know they're not great this year either, but I mean, they've played some tough teams and come out with a win. So.
They did have some guys out.
Yeah.
Delvin Cook being out was
And Thielen did get hurt that game, but we did it.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what you guys were thinking when it was 4th down. We had the lead. Dan Campbell went for it. We didn't get it, and then they scored. Because in my mind, I thought, game's over.
Yeah.
Game is over. We could have won. They scored, and I was like, "There's no way we're gonna come back. No way."
Yeah. So fun story. I was actually at a hockey game when the game first started, and I looked at my phone before the game, and we're up 20-6 at half. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the one. And after the game, I checked my phone, and Vikings take the lead like 28-23. My heart just dropped.
Yeah, I thought no chance, like no way that we were a good enough team or like mentally strong enough to come back and win that game after they got that and went down and scored. I thought it was over, just like every other game.
See, and then the Vikings went for 2 a lot, and we stonewalled them, and that kind of made me mad because I had the Vikings kicker on fantasy, and I mean he gave me like 8 points that game, but I mean if they just would have kicked it, I mean you never know. Because also I think Jared Goff played very well that game. He's throwing lasers. Like it's like something just like hit him. Like I don't know what got into him, but like something just snapped in his head, and he was just throwing dots. Jerry Jacobs, we got him. He was undrafted. He came in. I think he played very well. Also, Brock Wright scored a touchdown for us, and he played very well. He was undrafted too. So, I mean, we have some good young guys. I mean,
a lot of unknown guys too that are making a name for themselves right now.
Sometimes it's those guys that really need to step up and give your team that extra boost.
It really helps the locker room atmosphere too. I feel like having those guys make big plays. But
I 100% agree, and we just all around we looked really good. Charles Harris was a monster. I really like him too.
So was it more of us like being a good Lions team or like Vikings just being down a couple guys? You know,
I think a mixture of both. We had our moments, and we also had our traditional Lions moments where we tried to sell the game. But I mean, those guys being out helped us for sure. But I mean, it's a win's win. But the thing I have to say is we kind of hurt ourselves winning that, because I don't know if you guys know this. So before that win, we had a 77% chance of having the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And then after that win, we have a 50% chance now. So
I don't think Lions fans have to worry about the first overall pick. I think no matter what, in the top 3, I mean, you got Hutchinson, Thibodeau, safety out of LSU. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with any 3.
Who would you rather have, Hutchinson or Thibodeau?
I think Hutchinson's a better talent like right out of the draft. But Thibodeau has better potential. He's like a Mac Jones type guy. Like Mac Jones making a name for himself right now, I mean, leading this Patriots team to the playoffs. But he was the most NFL ready out of that draft. But if you were to ask me who I would take between Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence, I'd take Trevor Lawrence because you have a better upside.
I disagree with you, but I understand your point.
But if you would put Trevor Lawrence into the Patriots
in Mac Jones' spot, he would be doing. You're right.
But
he's being placed in the right spot, in the right situation at all times.
But back to Hutchinson or Thibodeau, I mean, I'm a big Michigan fan, and it's hard to get away from Hutchinson. So I would have to say Hutchinson.
I'm not sure. I'd rather go with Thibodeau, but I don't think it really matters because both of them are going to be beasts. So if we do have the number 1 pick, I mean, it doesn't really matter if we have number 1 or number 2 because we're getting either Hutchinson or Thibodeau. Yeah. So I mean, we're going to have. They both played edge, so I mean, we're going to be solid there all around if we get either one of those guys. All right, Thomas, thank you for coming on. Everyone, there's a basketball game tonight. Girls are at Western, boys are home playing Parma. So make sure you come out to that. And Thomas, got any shout outs before you leave?
Brody McCurchie.
Ben, you got any?
Shout out Miss Allen's son. She plays on the Bruins team, younger group. And shout out to Mr. Smith.
Oh, and Mr. Smart too. He also has a
All right, guys, make sure you subscribe and post notifications on and go like this Instagram post.